Tuesday night here on the Tuesday night live stream with Joe Cioffi. Good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. So coming up on 6 o'clock Eastern Time, and we had a beautiful day here in my neck of the woods, and I've got a visible satellite loop up to my left, and one of the things that you can see just offshore is some developing cloud cover and actually some low clouds that are going to probably back or try to back in northwestward. But inland, just beautifully clear. Timothy Veltman pointing out what a beautiful day he had today in upstate New York. Good evening to you. I see Raymond's here. Delvin's on. Good evening to you, Delvin. Jason on. Gary Rivard. Nice to see you guys here. Fantastic day throughout much of the Northeast. And while there may be some low clouds and fog that'll try to sweep in from off the ocean, wasn't really all that successful last night. I'm thinking that it doesn't matter, because either way, we're going to see weather conditions improve pretty quickly tomorrow morning, and we should go to partly to mostly sunny skies before too long. Now, here's the severe weather risk at the moment. There really isn't too much happening with regards to severe weather risk. We've got a fairly large area of possible that the Storm Prediction Center pointing to the possibility of some thunderstorms, and you can see that they're kind of scattered around there on the radar. But we do have an area of marginal risk in southwestern Minnesota, parts of easternmost South Dakota and Nebraska and northeastern Kansas, and on up through northwestern Missouri and a good chunk of the state of Iowa. Also, if you look out to the west, we've got some what looks like a line of thunderstorms, or some showers and heavy showers, and maybe a few thunderstorms sweeping inland from off the Pacific. And the Storm Prediction Center is actually also indicating an area of marginal risk for severe area for the interior of Oregon and parts of southernmost Washington. We are going to see the severe weather risk area expand tomorrow in Illinois and Indiana, as all of this winds up translating into the Midwest and Ohio Valley. This is really the next weather front that's approaching the East Coast. And here's the current radar, just showing what's happening up to southern Minnesota. Part of this, of course, is the area where we see that marginal risk for severe weather, and then some rain in western Wisconsin, northeastern Minnesota, and on up through northern Minnesota. That really is about it as far as severe weather happenings today. The pattern has been fairly quiet overall with respect to severe weather. We get these odd days here and there where it bubbles up, but we're not seeing, we haven't really seen like a huge outbreak in a while. We've had a few days this spring season where we've had significant outbreaks, but right now the weather overall just looks basically calm. So let's take you forward, because we do have Mother's Day this weekend, and I guess there's some sort of unwritten rule that supposedly the weather has to be nice for Mother's Day. And I'm thinking back to last year. I got to go back and look it up. My memory is telling me that the weather wasn't so good last Mother's Day, but I got to double check. So in the meantime, why don't we take a look at where the models are going. One of the things that we talked about yesterday, and I think this is important. Okay. Oh, he's doing this to me. I forgot which box I'm supposed to click. There we go. Levi added a little menu that comes up to point out, to let newcomers know where they should go in order to pull down maps, and I forgot about that. I got to just click the skip box, and I can't see it on my screen, so that's what that was all about. All right, so let me bring up the upper air, and we talked about this yesterday. You can see the jet stream here over the United States. You've got several short waves where you see the indentation here in the flow. These troughs that are moving along, none of them are particularly strong. So the next system that is now going to be moving across the Midwest on Wednesday heads to the East Coast. And you can see there's a trough that's swinging into southeastern Canada. That's going to push a cold front through. And after that, as we go into Friday and into Saturday, a ridge is going to try and build here in the east. But there is a problem with this ridge. If you notice, unlike last week when we had this very strong north-south oriented ridge, this is a rather flat east-west ridge. And the reason why this is a problem is that the northern jet stream, and you can see it where the blue is up in southeastern Canada, is very active. So that's acting kind of as a weight. It's keeping that ridge from flying all the way up into eastern Canada and sending temperatures soaring back into the 90s again. Instead, what I think is going to happen is you're going to have one very warm day out of this, which is Saturday, where I think temperatures will get into the 80s. But then there will be a shortwave trough that's going to be coming down out of Canada that is going to suppress that ridge just enough that it's going to allow a cold front to push through here on Mother's Day. And in fact, when we take a look, and when I say here, I'm talking about my area, eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, including New York City and Philadelphia. Here is the new late afternoon run of the GFS. The weather front is through here by morning, and there are showers that are shown across Ohio, northern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, Long Island, and on up in through New England. Gradually, that is going to sink southward. Before we get there, however, we have one more good day for Wednesday, and then Thursday, here comes the cold front that's going to move on through. I don't think this front is going to be a big deal. Yes, that is snow, by the way, in southeastern Canada that's being indicated. That front goes by, and we have a nice Friday, and now on Saturday, a west wind takes over, so that should warm temperatures up. Although the GFS is trying to show some showers now Friday night into Saturday morning. I'm not 100% sold on that. I'm kind of thinking that that will not be the case. But here we are by Saturday evening with the front line basically from Cape Cod through just the lower Hudson Valley and across northern Pennsylvania. So there'll probably be some showers and thunderstorms that'll develop ahead of that. And then as a wave goes by, that front drops southward on Mother's Day with clouds and some showers. Also notice that we've got some tropical moisture. Let's back away from this and come forward. We've got tropical moisture coming into Florida over the weekend, into South Florida. You see it there going into Saturday night and Sunday. Nothing especially organized, but it looks like showers do increase somewhat as we go through late Saturday into Sunday. There is going to be probably a tendency for a weak low of some kind to form in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico early next week. Whether it amounts to anything or not remains to be seen. I kind of would lean against it. But there is going to be some tropical moisture there with the high where it is. It is streaming some moisture westward into Florida. And as we back up one run, just to carry you along, you kind of see there's a little bit of a low and an inverted trough there early next week that spins around. Again, I think it's way too early for it to become anything problematic. And meanwhile, next week here in the Northeast, because of the fact that you're going to get this front pushing down to the south and stalling out, it might mean for some showers from time to time. Sorry about that. I'm a little zealous with the button. And you can see them here, how they bubble up during the afternoon. Looks like later next week there could be some active severe weather across the middle Mississippi Valley on eastward in response to that stalling front and high pressure to the north. You've got very warm tropical air to the south, a bit of an onshore flow there that sets up later next week in the Northeast. So we'll see if that winds up playing out. Now I want to show you the Pacific tropics. There isn't a whole lot happening, but yesterday the Hurricane Center was addressing a disturbed area of disturbed weather, and here's the tropical satellite, and we'll move that to the top. And actually, if you look, it's pretty obvious there that there is some rotation with a system that's well out into the Pacific. This is not going to be any threat to any land area at all. And they are mentioning it today now, a 50% chance of this becoming a tropical storm over the next 48 hours, and a 50% chance of it becoming a tropical depression or a tropical storm over the next 5 days. So I just point this out, if only because of the fact that the hurricane season in the Pacific is going to be getting underway in short order. Begins on May 15th, so we're going to start to see some of this stuff. And it's usually important to keep an eye on both coasts, if only from the Pacific side, to see how activity develops early on in the season. Sometimes when the Pacific is quiet, the Atlantic is active, and at times when the Atlantic is quiet, the Pacific is active. So this sort of early beginning, we always try to look for some sort of clues. The wintertime clues, as difficult as they are, I think are actually a bit easier to figure than the Pacific, the tropical clues that are thrown out there. But nonetheless, we could have an early tropical storm in the East Pac. So you'll of course know that once we get into the tropical storm season, that coverage here will be right on top of it. And please, by the way, I know a number of the last bunch of runs on the GFS in one form or another, trying to show some sort of tropical system in the Gulf or in the Caribbean, or both or neither. Remember, this is like in the wintertime when the models show snowstorms in the long range, and the vast majority of time they don't happen, or if they do happen, they evolve quite differently than what the models usually indicate. The same holds true with the models with the tropical season. And in fact, we all know, my own feeling with respect to the Canadian model and how it likes to spin up basically everything that moves. In fact, let me bring that up. I didn't really look at it today, but let's bring up the Canadian model and see what it did. Hang on. And sorry folks, I'm just trying to get myself organized. Yay, got that done. So let's look at the Canadian. And in fact, let me take maybe we'll take trying to take a couple of different views. So let's start with this view here. This is at the end of the period. So let's go to the beginning, and maybe the Canadian's been upgraded where it's not going to do that and spin everything that moves. Now there you can see on the far lower left is the tropical system that we're dealing with at the moment, I believe, as it spins it up in another couple of days. By Friday, it looks like it has it maybe as a strong tropical depression or a tropical storm. Tries to bring it close to the coast of Mexico and just kind of meanders it out there. And then there's another low in the Pacific there. So really, it doesn't look like it's spinning up too much, thankfully, and it's not spinning up anything on the Atlantic side. And as far as the GFS is concerned, I'll just run this real quick. I'm not going to take it out from the prior run because I just want to see what it's done here with regards to the first part of next week. So it's not really doing anything there, so that's good. Again, I've already seen stuff out there on YouTube and on social media regarding the landfalling hurricane at 384 hours. That needs to stop. Mr. Rayos just walked into the door. What are you up to?
Was that little thing that you said before, was that with the Facebook, or was it with the YouTube?
It would be with Facebook for tonight.
Okay. That's all. I wanted to know that.
No worries. You can say hi. Hello. Hi. Hello out there.
Hi, everybody. Hello there, television land. Very, very boring weather until we get a thunderstorm maybe later Thursday, but that's neither here nor there.
That's correct.
I'm neither there.
Take your string of Peloponnese and go.
Goodbye.
Joe Rayo will be on tonight with me on the Joe and Joe Show on Facebook. So Anthony Orr reminds us all that last Mother's Day for our area, Mother's Day was not nice to Mom. There was a weekend nor'easter that soaked the Northeast. You know, I knew it was in the back of my mind that it was not a very nice day. But Jason, your mother may not be happy if the weather doesn't cooperate, but as long as you buy the meal, I think you're okay. All right. See, my issue's always been the opposite. Growing up in an Italian household like I did, we never went out for Mother's Day. My mother, actually cooked big family dinners, and it was really almost an insult to suggest that we were going to go out to dinner instead of doing something at home. The response was, the food is much better here at home than we could get at any restaurant. And you know what? As I've gotten older, I've certainly come to agree with with that observation. Okay. So wet snow in parts of New England on Mother's Day from the same system, Anthony reminds us. Waiting for thunderstorms, Israel. They're not happening today, so we'll have to see. Maybe on Thursday there might be some scattered thunderstorms with that cold front, which to me doesn't look all that impressive, to tell you the truth. Maybe a better chance on Sunday, depending on that east-west oriented front. Actually, those kind of fronts I tend to do well on Long Island because it cuts off the ocean flow ahead of it, so we wind up with a west or a west wind before the front goes by. So I think you might stand a better chance Saturday night of seeing something a bit more substantial. We'll see. Anthony Orr has a trivia question for me. What is the record for fastest moving hurricane? I will give you the name, and you can give me the speed. Emily. I'm going to say between 60 and 70 miles an hour, Anthony. As it probably raced up into the northern latitudes, that certainly would not be out of the question. But I'd be curious as to let me know what the answer is. Magnet Fishing Adventure TV, fishing on my boat in Maryland Saturday. Are we going to be good? I think Saturday you will be. The frontal boundary will be still far enough to your north that you should not have any problems unless there's some kind of pop-up thunderstorm that shows up. But I'm thinking in terms of widespread activity, you're probably not going to see it on Saturday. You might see it on Sunday as that front pushes southward. That is my never to be humble opinion at this point. Magnet Fishing Adventure TV. Do models do worse in the long range? They do worse with both hurricanes and snowstorms, either one. There's too much variability after you go out past the fifth day in both cases, in both snowstorms and in tropical systems. The only thing I would say, though, is that at least, sometimes when models are showing, this is not always the case, if they're showing a busy look, that might be an indicator that something may go on in the long range, and it may be more than one. But in terms of any kind of dependability, no. Both the snow, it does badly with both snowstorms and with tropical systems. We see you and the other Joe on the green screen? I can show you the green screen if I can turn the camera around. Hang on. Be patient, folks. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can get the green screen. Unfortunately, here it is. So you can see, the green screen is what we use to do our TV stuff, and that is behind, to my side. It's behind me, and when we, I'll turn it this way, and you can see there's the camera that we use. Okay. When I can, we'll, every once in a while I'm able to show you, if we're taping something or if we're doing something live where we'll be on at the same time. But that's not one of those cases now. But I promise you, at some point down the road, we will do that. Yes, Israel, every day. Every year that every day is Mother's Day. Yes, I understand that. It's not that much different in Italian households either. So just, There's a lot of similarity in terms of the mother family dynamic in Jewish and Italian families, and for that matter, also even in most Spanish families. There's a very, very tight bond. Not to say that there isn't a tight bond in other groups, but there's a certain weave of similarity that goes within those three groups. Let's see, and the answer is 68, a swift 68 miles per hour before Emily raced across the North Atlantic at 87 before becoming extratropical. So I got it close. The 38 hurricane that hit Long Island was going every bit of 60 miles an hour when it made landfall over central Long Island. The west wind would mean a chance for storms for me. I'll keep the sea breeze out for you. And how many tornadoes were there May 31st, 1998? I know the bigger ones in Stillwater and the Binghamton area. Anthony's good with the trivia stuff. He's a lot better than I used to be pretty good with that, but over the years my memory has just sort of faded away. Anthony's good at keeping tabs on all the trivia stuff and remembering a lot of things that I have long since forgotten. So I think that's just about it today, folks. Like I said, it's been it's very quiet, not much going on. We'll see how activity picks up over the next couple of days, and with a front on Thursday and again on Saturday night into Sunday. So in the meantime, you can just relax, enjoy the great weather. I went out fishing this morning. That was one of the reasons why I didn't do I know I said I was going to start to do a morning YouTube video, a short one, and I actually wound up doing a morning Facebook video from where I was fishing, and then I thought, okay, when I get home, I'll just upload it to YouTube and just put it in the library, and then I forgot to do it. So we'll just leave it there, and I'll see what happens tomorrow. A lot of times, how I think my day is going to be, how I'm thinking my day, the next day is going to be for me at this time of night, and then I wake up tomorrow morning, and there's going to be a whole bunch of things that I got to get done that take up my time. So I know I hate telling you I'm going to do something and then wind up not doing it, but unfortunately, life does occasionally get in the way. I also, my daughter is very close to her due date, so Dad's nerves are a little frayed. I have a grandchild that will be arriving in the next couple of weeks, so I sort of have that on my mind front and center as well. But I appreciate your patience with me when I say I'm going to do something and I wind up not doing it. We are going to do the Joe and Joe Show tonight at 9:15 Eastern Time on Facebook, so do join us. And while I am going to be on doing some special projects tomorrow, it might affect the time of the nighttime live stream. I may have to push it back to after 7 or 8 o'clock, but I'll schedule it. I'll schedule it on the on my YouTube channel, and you can take a look at what time I'm going to do it. Normally I try to do it at 6, but there are times when circumstances here require me to change all that. Okay, have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for being here. I know when the weather is quiet, the crowds are low, but some folks, it's important to check every day. And Israel, can I do a library appearance near you? What I would suggest you do, Israel, is contact your local library and let them know to contact me if they are interested in letting me do one of their programs. A lot of libraries have these programs, classes, an hour and a half, but let your local library know. Let them contact me, and we can see if we can work out a date. I am going to be in my first Jersey appearance is going to be in October I think it's the Springfield Library in northern New Jersey. I think it's in Western Union County. I got to double check that, but don't quote me on that. But I'm thinking that's where I'm going. But yeah, let your library know that I'm available. They can find me on Facebook. You can give them my Facebook page, or my email address is on there somewhere. You can have them contact me directly, and then we'll see if we can work something out. Okay, by the way, that goes for any of you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Westchester, Lower Hudson Valley, Long Island, even Southern Connecticut. Let your library know. We usually have a lot of fun at those library talks. So let them know that I'm available and have them contact me. Have a great evening. Oh, and by the way, just a reminder, there's an Amazon link on the the description for this video. I have a relationship with Amazon as an affiliate. Amazon is an affiliate marketer. It allows me to earn fees if you use my Amazon link, and it's a great way to support my channel because you get your stuff and Amazon pays me a bit of a commission, and everybody is happy. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.